South Jersey for Eagles football.
Sport.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios. What a move! Here's Josh Hennig.
Thursday edition of Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN. As we are counting down the days still until the Eagles play the 49ers for the NFC Championship game. We hear both championship games this Sunday. Coverage begins at 2 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up this hour, we will dive deeper into both matchups with Kalyn Kahler. She is back for a third straight week. I got to ask her why she's back for a third straight week, because I would have thought she would have been tired talking to me by now. But apparently, for 3 straight weeks, she's coming on the show. Senior NFL writer for The Athletic. We'll talk to her coming up in about 17 minutes from now. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also could DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Couple things I want to get to. We will touch a little bit on the Sixers-Nets game last night as well, because there were a couple things that happened in the game last night that really stood out to me. So we will get to that in just a bit as well. But I want to start with the Eagles injury report. And as I was just telling somebody before I came on the microphone here for Game Night, to me, I feel like the Eagles are just like load managing practice this week. Like in sports, we talk about the idea of them resting players in the NBA as load management. Well, this injury report that came out today for the Eagles, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Isaac Seumalo, Robert Quinn, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Landon Dickerson, Fletcher Cox, A.J. Brown, and James Bradbury. 10 players were limited at practice due to rest. Only 2 players had real injury designations: Lane Johnson and Avonte Maddox. I almost feel like the Eagles are trying to figure out how many guys they can put on a list for rest and get away with it at this point. I feel like it's like a running joke that they're doing. But on a more serious note, I told you guys yesterday, and I'll emphasize it again today. This is now 2 straight days that Avonte Maddox has been listed as a limited participant at practice. And what that means is that he is currently on track to play this week. And it was a big deal because the media got to talk to Avonte Maddox about his toe injury today. This is what he told the media. He said, quote, "It's a day-by-day thing. It's an injury, and it's always going to be a day-by-day thing. I feel like closer to the game I get, I'll know how it feels to really be out there playing. As of now, I don't really know for sure if he's going to play Sunday. It's a day-by-day." So it seems like more and more, based on what we are hearing and seeing, that Maddox is trending toward playing this Sunday. Now, he keeps saying it's a day-by-day thing. If you go by the reporting of Jeff Mosher and Adam Kaplan from the Inside the Birds podcast, what they explained is that there's actually multiple different things going on in that toe, that he had a break and torn ligaments in it. So the bone got messed up. The ligaments got messed up. There's a lot of things here. And it's not like if you jacked up your hand or a finger on your hand or your thumb, where you can just put a cast on it and you can just kind of walk around with a club on your hand and just be like, all right, well, I can't catch the ball, but I can knock it down if you're playing defense. Maddox can't just turn around and be like, oh, just wrap it up real good. Like a toe injury is complicated. And so This really feels like they are going to play it by ear, and I would go as far to project that he will be listed as questionable on tomorrow's final injury report. If he plays, it's great news for the Eagles. Here's the thing. I think if Maddox plays for the Eagles this Sunday, I think you have to immediately say that the Eagles can win the game. I think Maddox is that important. The problem with Avonte Maddox is this injury has a history of taking a long time to heal. And so I am not going to be hasty and just go head over heels one direction or another when it comes to it. Look, I all week have been leaning toward the Eagles winning this game on Sunday. And I'll give you my 3 keys to the game why I think they'll win on tomorrow's game night. But I'm going to tell you guys right now a tiny preview. I don't think that people are factoring in enough the fact that this game is in Philadelphia. To me, I think that might be the equalizer. You know, Rob Motti brought up a great point earlier this week about how Lincoln Financial Field can be the neutralizer, okay? That Lincoln Financial Field can be the thing that basically makes or breaks this game. And the more I've thought about it as the days have gone on, the more I have realized how true that is. Because for the Eagles, they're not invincible at home. We already know that. They lost to Washington at home, right? They lost to the Saints at home. 2 of their 3 losses this year are in the home field. But what we do know about the home field advantage is Philly fans are not like other fans. They're loud, they're proud, and they will fight for their team as long as their team fights for them. And I think this Eagles team is going to need to ride them a little bit, because the truth is that you have a team in the 49ers that has 2 explicit flaws on their team. One being the interior offensive line is not great, and the Eagles' defensive line goes 8 deep in the rotation. So we know that's one area the Eagles can expose them. The other area is the 49ers corners are the weakness of their defense. What do the Eagles like to do? Big plays on slants and sluggo routes and go routes and, comebacks and so many different variations of the same route tree that the Eagles receivers like Brown and Smith can branch off of, and Goddard as well, I should say. So I think that's really where this game is going to be interesting, because the 49ers' 2 flaws are 2 areas that the Eagles have a strength in. And I think between that and the fans, if the Eagles don't win this game at home, something went wrong. Listen, right now it's a 2.5 spread. And, I was listening to the guys from Joe Fortenbaugh and Amber Wilson. They host a show that comes after me Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on ESPN Radio here on 973 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night. And Fortenbaugh, who lives and works in Vegas, explained that a lot of times the reason why a line may or may not move has to do with the book is trying to make people blink. I think the reason why the Bengals Chiefs line keeps moving is because people are throwing money all over the place on it. From what we understand, the higher bet game right now is the AFC Championship, not the NFC Championship game. But I'm not going to let a sports book dictate what I see on the field. And I think if you were being honest, the Eagles should win this game. The question is, will the Eagles team that went 10-0 in games that they allowed less than 310 total yards show up in this game or not? Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN being brought to you by Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Because when 97.3 ESPN needs to make our studio comfortable, that is who we called, and you should too. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. One call does it all. 609-641-6262. Give Jenkins a call for new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning services. Plus, they can repair or replace your water and sewer main. 609-641-6262 and online at jenkinsandsons.com. Before we get to the break, we have Kalyn Kahler joining us just about 8 minutes from now. And of course, we'll get to your text a little bit later in the hour at 609-403-0973 on the text board, and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. The Sixers game last night to me was a great expression of what the Sixers can be if they play at the level that they can play at. Here's what I mean by that. Excuse me. I thought you saw the version of James Harden that the Sixers need to win a championship. And Tim Legler kind of drove this point home for me late at night last night on SportsCenter with SVP. And he was explaining to Legler that if the James Harden that is a well-rounded basketball player, that was balanced in terms of being aggressive offensively and intelligent as a playmaker, if that guy shows up when the Sixers reach the postseason, they can be on a championship run. Because last night, I don't think we give enough credit to what Harden did last night. I thought Harden did a really good job at not forcing the issue every time he went down the court. He wasn't trying to score on every play. He wasn't trying to make amazing assists every play. At times, it was great to see him slow down the pace of the game, evaluate the floor, and then recalibrate. I thought that was a great job by him. I love seeing Max come off the bench and dial it up from three, be a huge part of the offense. It's obvious that the Sixers, though, their defense is still poor. And I don't know if it's purely a side effect of the regular season, allows guys to maybe not give 100% so they don't go out there and give their all each and every night. But it's really starting to feel like this team just doesn't have the players they thought they did defensively, because outside of Melton, who actually had an incredible night last night himself. I mean, how many guys what is he, 6'5", has 3 blocks in a game? I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, him and Harden combined for 3 steals and 4 blocks last night. But aside from Melton, it feels like nobody on this team actually plays legitimate defense consistently. And for a guy like Embiid, who supposedly prides himself on the idea that he could maybe be a defensive player of the year one day, for a guy like PJ Tucker is supposed to be this, he was signed to play defense, was PJ Tucker. For players like Matisse Thybulle, who literally the only reason he's on this team is to play defense and hopefully hit a 3 or 2, which he did hit 2 threes last night. For this team to give up 133 points last night in 4 quarters, didn't even go to overtime. That's a problem. And I don't know the answer how to fix it, because this is now multiple games that the Sixers this season have allowed a ton of points in. And I think if there's really a problem with the Sixers, it might not be Harden, it might not be Embiid, it might not be Maxey, it might be their defense. Just something to think about here on a Thursday night. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. We'll get back into the NFL coming up next. Kalyn Kahler from The Athletic, senior NFL writer, joins me next here on Game Night on on 97.3 ESPN.
This is the home for Eagles playoff football. The Eagles host the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday in the NFC Championship game.
The Philadelphia Eagles have reached the NFC Championship game.
Pre-game coverage starts at 2 p.m. with all the play-by-play action starting at 3 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Start the new year in a new ride from Bridgeton Chevrolet Buick GMC. Lease a new 2022 Buick Encore Sport Utility, $299 a month, or lease a new 2023 GMC Acadia Sport Utility, $339 a month, and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, get the BAM Advantage, 2 years of scheduled no-cost maintenance. Start the new year in a new ride from Bridgeton Chevrolet Buick GMC. Better get to Bridgeton. We are professional grade. 36-month leases with $2,500 down. See dealer for details.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Some people are easily moved.
Wasn't that just the saddest movie ever?
Whatever. Others, not so much.
Oh, look at the puppies!
Just dogs, but smaller, so what? But even those who aren't easily moved.
Look, your long-lost brother's been found!
Oh, hi, Mike. Can be moved by us. Yeah, we're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
I know a lot of you really want the State Farm Personal Price Plan, but what's with the oversharing? Like this message Brian left me.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I love the smell of my cat's breath. Yeah.
You don't need to get that personal. The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
The 2023 Hercules Tires MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall, March 7th through 11th, featuring 22 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, and a mac and cheese fest, where you'll be able to taste a variety of mac and cheese from your favorite local restaurants. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action to see who'll cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Get your tickets at boardwalkhall.com.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, how Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Wait,
Stop the countdown. It's the final days of the Kia Season of Giving Back sales event. So bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia and drive home in a brand new Kia, even with 0 down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Don't see your new Kia on the lot today? That does not mean you can't drive it home tomorrow. With peace of mind, Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy. So if you have a job clearing $350 per week at Matt Blatt Kia, you are virtually approved. So why pay more when you can pay 0% with 0 down?
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $2,778 per thousand financed on in-stock 2023 Sorento Hybrid. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 1/31/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget to join me coming up this Sunday. Me and the 97.3 ESPN promo team will be at Casey Ray Sports Bar and Pub in Violin from 12 to 2 for the Ultimate Eagles tailgate party. We'll have prize giveaways. Don't forget the drink specials all game long, courtesy of Jameson Irish Whiskey and Absolute Vodka. So join us this Sunday at Casey Ray Sports Bar and Pub on Landis Avenue in Violin from 12 to 2 and cheer on the Eagles, the victory. Or not. Maybe you're a spiteful Giants fan and you're mad the Eagles beat you with such a lopsided margin that you'll just come out and root against the Eagles. Either way, just come out and join us this coming Sunday. Speaking of joining us, she is back for a third straight week, and I am very curious to find out from senior NFL writer Kalyn Kahler if either I'm doing a good enough job that someone is willing to come on 3 straight weeks, or I am just that wildly entertaining that I am filling the void of like a soap opera or something this time of day. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm out of television shows to watch recently, so that's definitely why I keep coming back.
It's like about 6 o'clock. You're like, I've binged enough stuff at
Right.
this point of the day, right?
Right. Well, I'm in Central Time, so it's like 5:20 here. So it's
Okay.
like, just kind of wrapping up the work day. What's good? What am I gonna do next? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you squeeze me in between the end of the work day and dinner and a drink, right? Is that what it is?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But actually after
Perfect.
this, I'm going to teach a private Irish dance lesson after this because that's my
Oh.
side hustle is that I am also an Irish dance teacher when I'm not covering the NFL.
I feel like I need the more sign to like flash across the screen.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, before you go and teach that class, let's dig into some NFL with you. I want to start with the Eagles 49ers game, because everyone is like picking apart 20 ways from Sunday. But I want to know from your perspective, what is your take on Brock Purdy?
He's so fascinating. I don't know. I think the jury is still a little bit out on him. I would like to see him play somewhere else in an experiment because obviously we haven't seen him outside of college football play anywhere else, but I do think so much of this is Kyle Shanahan. Like, you hate to sell the player short and, discredit him, but I do think so much of this is Kyle Shanahan just kind of expertly managing the quarterback situation there, which has been absolutely wild. I mean, it feels like multiple years ago that Trey Lance got hurt, but it was somehow still the same year. That was September. That's crazy to me when I think about that, because it just seems like we've almost kind of forgotten that he's literally on the roster there. And I don't know that Brock Purdy is like playing so well that it changes any of their quarterback plans. Like, that's an interesting conversation to have. Jimmy Garoppolo is obviously a free agent, so he's going to be gone. He'll be going somewhere else. We know that for sure. But, it's not like a situation where, Brock Purdy is just so stunning that they're going to also trade Trey Lance for a lot of value. I don't see that happening at all. I don't see Brock having taken Trey's job in any way. But it is interesting. I mean, it's just been such a crazy year for that quarterback position and that team. So yeah, I'm excited to see Brock Purdy. I was just kind of refreshing myself on the 7 or 8 games, I believe, that he has played for San Francisco. And, last week was the first real like rock fight that he was in. He really, they'd had the benefit for the most part of like playing with a lead, scoring a lot of points. Would have multiple touchdown games. Last week was the first game that he did not throw for a touchdown. So that kind of broke a streak there where he'd had at least, I think, 2 in 7 games in a row. So if that pattern holds, I'm worried about them against the Eagles. I think to keep up with the Eagles, you got to score a lot of points. So if that's going to be a trend that we see now, that they're going to be struggling to score, it'll be an interesting matchup. But I do think, like, by far, this is the best team that Brock Purdy has seen. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
I've had 2 people mention this week that they think that the neutralizer for Brock Purdy and the 49ers will be the Lincoln Financial Field crowd, that the Eagle fan is something that Purdy hasn't seen before. Because when they were down to the Raiders, that wasn't in a stadium like Arrowhead or Philadelphia or Seattle. Like, no offense, but, Raider fans they're not even in Vegas, let's be honest. So, how much do you think that the Philly fan could impact this game for a guy like Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely could have some kind of impact here. It's better than nothing, that's for sure. I think Jason Kelsey just said this on his podcast this week. I was listening to it. He was like, the playoff crowd, it's not just loud, but it's like angry loud. It's like confrontational loud.
I heard this, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good description of it and like how it can come into play in the postseason. And obviously, at the link, they're going to be on the silent count. They're already preparing for it. And that's always a little bit, or the Niners offense will be, and that's always a little bit, a little bit more difficult for a quarterback. But they're practicing for it. Like, they know their silent count. Like, it's not that much of a hurdle for a opposing quarterback. I mean, yes, it can get confusing. You can't hear each other, those types of things, but like, they know they have a plan for this situation. So I don't know to what degree it's really going to make an impact as far as affecting the Niners play. But certainly, like, if the Eagles get momentum, it could certainly, create, the vibe. The vibe could be affected for sure.
On the flip side of the field for the Eagles and Niners, what is the player on the Niners offense that you think, like, if we're at the waking up Monday morning to the headlines on every website, right? We jump on the Athletic app or on the Athletic website, the headline is 49ers win. Who was the guy on the 49ers not named Brock Purdy that won the game on their offense?
I mean, last week we didn't see a lot from Christian McCaffrey. The Cowboys did a pretty good job of, defending him. So I think he was like so important to them. That trade was just huge for the Niners. That was probably the best move that they've made aside from drafting Brock Purdy in the draft for this offseason. So I guess I would probably say Christian McCaffrey. Because I think when he is playing his best and when he's really involved in this game plan, I mean, they are, they can just really just steamroll people.
Do you think that McCaffrey and Debo, are they truly interchangeable in your mind? Because some people say they are, but I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like it's a little too feisty to say they're interchangeable because they're both phenomenally talented, but they are still 2 different types of athletes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I would probably say no. I do think they have enough differences, and like, it's hard to say that like any 2 players really of any position are interchangeable, like truly. So I guess you could kind of argue what the definition of that is and then have a philosophical debate about that. But yeah, I don't think I would say that they are interchangeable.
One more thing on the Eagles 49ers game before we move over to the AFC, and that is, I asked you a question about the 49ers. Well, if the Eagles win the game, what do you think the headline on the Athletic is going to say if the Eagles win the game?
I'm a terrible headline writer. So this is definitely not what the headline would say, but I would say like I don't know, something along the lines of like the best team won because I think I don't know that there's a consensus that the Eagles are the better team, but I after seeing last week's game against the Giants, where I really thought the Giants would be in the game, and instead we got just a complete blowout. I think that the Eagles are the best team left. Like of the four teams, first of all, of the four teams, they are truly the best teams in the NFL, and that is like very rare that we actually see that happen. Usually, when we're at the conference championship Sunday, there's like one team that you're like, wow, that's not one of the teams I would have predicted that would have got this far. Or, oh, there's some flaws in that roster. Like, I'm not sure what's going on there. This year, I feel like we really did actually get the four strongest teams that are left. And I think the holes that you could point to are like, okay, Patrick Mahomes is hurt. That's a question mark, but that's not necessarily like a hole. That's just like a recent development. Brock Purdy as the Niners quarterback. That's the most surprising aspect of the four teams that are left is just like Brock Purdy is here. But overall, these are the four best teams. So now I totally lost the question. Oh, the Eagles headline. Yeah, I think the Eagles are the best team left by far. So I think the headline would be something like, yeah, like the Eagles just keep winning. Like here they are. We're not surprised. And like, Jalen Hurts has yet to smile post game because he hasn't won it all yet. That would be something like that.
Kind of just to backtrack into your answer a little bit, because you mentioned the way the Eagles beat the Giants. So to not put words in your mouth, I'm interpreting as you're also saying that the way maybe the Cowboys 49ers game was so close.
Yeah.
Maybe you feel like the 49ers, no one say the 49ers roster is bad, but like, for example, we had a 49ers reporter earlier on this week who said that, the 49ers definitely have a weakness in their secondary cornerback, and they definitely have a weakness on the interior of their offensive line. And I feel like those are two positions the Eagles are not weak at. So,
Right.
Is that kind of where you're drawing the line of saying, hey, the Eagles destroyed the Giants, a playoff team, and the 49ers barely beat the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think that is kind of what I'm seeing it as because of the teams that are left, like I haven't done the analysis of like looking at the point margins, but it seems like and maybe the Chiefs would be a similar to the Eagles here, but if you looked at probably like scoring differential for the whole season even, like I'm sure that the Eagles are I would think the Eagles might be at the top of the four teams left. That would actually be an interesting analysis to see what the scoring margin is for these four teams left of the point differential basically for the season to see how high above they were and my internet is like freaking out right now, so I'm not going to look it up, but Josh, you can look it up if you
I
feel
actually
like
do
it.
got it. So the
Oh,
Bengals
great.
were
Let me know.
now I only have the regular season though. I don't have the postseason number, but
Okay, that's fine. We can...
the Bengals were plus 96.
Okay.
The Chiefs were plus 127.
Okay.
The 49ers were plus 173. And the Eagles were plus 133. So the Eagles had the second best number to the 49ers.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. I guess that makes sense. So, well, that's why this is going to be a really good game because, my whole point was, okay, the Niners barely won last week, but then if you look at the season as a whole, they've been beating teams by more than the Eagles have, if you really look at it that way. But yeah, I think that was my point is like that game last week was just such an utter demolishing of the Giants that it just feels like you watched that team and you're like, this is one of the better teams I've maybe like ever seen.
By the way, some useless trivia for folks out there. The 49ers are one of only two teams this NFL season to allow less than 300 points as a defense. The other team, ironically enough, was not the Eagles. It was the Buffalo Bills. So read into that what you will.
Right.
So
yeah.
Senior NFL writer Kalyn Kahler joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. She writes for The Athletic here. Let's get into the AFC before I let you go. I'm going to steal this question directly from Katie Mox from CBS Sports. Are you believing this Patrick Mahomes, my ankle is fine stuff?
Yes and no. Like, no, just like medically, because it's not gonna be a perfect ankle. Like, there's no way. Obviously he's not letting us in on how bad it is, because why would he and why should he? So I think he's speaking it into existence, like Aaron Rodgers would say. He's gonna manifest, he's gonna totally manifest a healthy ankle for this weekend. So no, I'm not totally buying it. I think he's gonna have some limitations, and we'll see when he's on the field, like what he is able to do versus what's missing from his game. So I definitely think he is not going to be like 100% Patrick Mahomes. However, I don't think we're going to be seeing Chad Henne unless it's that bad, by the second quarter or something. And that's the thing that worries me too, is that this is, now a known vulnerability for him. So if you're the opponent, why wouldn't you try to, they're not going to target his ankle, but
right.
If you're hitting him, I think Tony Romo said on the broadcast last week, like, now people are going to go for that. And like, people are going to try to hit him. And obviously there's the rules, body weight rules, roughing the passer. So you do have to be careful in those ways, but it does make me a little bit, it does put him a little bit at risk. I mean, playing at all in that with that type of injury does put you at risk to making it worse, right? So I think that is the biggest concern, is not necessarily like he's going to be so much worse and he's going to be so limited, but more like, well, what are you putting him at risk to by playing him in this situation? And like, is he going to come out of this game worse than he started? Or is he going to have to leave the game at one point? So I think that's what I wonder about this. So I'm not fully buying him. Then he's like, I'm good. Like, don't worry about it.
I'm not buying it at all. I think he's completely lying about the whole thing. I feel like this is like hockey, and they're being like, oh, it's just a lower body injury. It's whatever,
right.
Yeah. If I'm Lou Emerald, what's that?
Bad, and he looked
right
after he came back. I mean, he did not look good. So
yeah, I mean, if I'm Lou Amarella, I go out there and I actually tell my guys, don't even try to hit him. Actually, I go out there and say, just chase him around, make him run on the ankle and just see what happens. Like, can he even scramble consistently enough? Because, Stefania Bell was explaining this on SportsCenter, I believe it was yesterday, about how she's like, you can't brace a high ankle sprain the way you would brace a low ankle sprain. So it's like, you can't just like wrap it up and you're good to go. Like Jason Kelsey's been playing on a jacked up ankle all season long. Like him and his brother have been joking about on his podcast about how, Travis would be like, oh, how's the ankle doing? You getting surgery yet? And, Kelsey would go tell him, go bleep off,
right.
But like, it's a lower ankle. So like, you could like do special wrapping and stuff with that. Like high ankle is completely different. So like, if I'm the Bengals, I just go out there and be like, don't even hit him unless like you want to just finish the play. Like make him run around, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And that would be like a great, defensive strategy for them, because I'm sure Andy Reid is trying to coach that out of their offense right now. Like he's going to be saying, let's do as little of that as possible to protect you. But there are ways that obviously you can like make a quarterback uncomfortable and get him to leave the pocket. And when you do, I mean, that would be exactly what you're saying with, just trying to make him run more on it. And that is the risk here for Mahomes and for the Chiefs. And that's why I think the Bengals will end up winning this game because they've already beaten them 3 times in the last year. And now we have a Patrick Mahomes who is not at full strength.
Yeah, I've been on record picking the Bengals all week, so I'm with you there. But I do, before I let you go, have one wild question. And I totally understand this is really foresight, but I'm asking it just because I can't get it out of my head. And I feel like you are the right person to answer this question, because realistically, it is kind of a wild thing to think about. But if the Bengals go to the Super Bowl and they don't win it again, are they this generation's Buffalo Bills with, Kelly and all those guys?
How many times did they lose again?
4 straight.
That's what I thought. I was like, it was definitely more than 2. So I would say no, because I do think you would need to like match that total.
Okay.
And also, weren't a lot of did more than one of those games come down to a kicker?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
like most of
Giants
them,
game
right?
for sure. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Giants game, I mean, that was the one that I think it was Norwood was the kicker. We
yeah,
missed that
Norwood.
one.
So I think you have to have like last year's loss wasn't really dramatic to me in any way. Like maybe I'm forgetting some of the drama, but like it was close at the end, but it's not like there was some failed like a Cowboys scenario last week or a missed field goal or a missed extra point that was like super dramatic and it was like so close. So I think the Bengals would need to like lose 3 more times and then also in a couple more like really dramatic ways to match that.
I just can't get it out of my head because I feel like everyone is just like projecting Burrow into this role.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, people are comparing him to Brady for goodness sake. And I'm just like, oh, please stop,
Right.
And
Right.
like, I mean, Brady wasn't even Brady the first 3 Super Bowls they won. He didn't become that until a little bit later himself. And it's like, to me, like, there's a part of me that wonders, like, if we put so much expectation on athletes, right? Like this idea that these are still human beings. And if you're putting so much, like, you expect them to be this, and if they only become this, and it's like, oh, he stinks. And it's like, then the whole role reversal turns around on people.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe Burrow is definitely, I mean, so talented and like
Yeah.
so cool and just like poised and so I think they might win it this year. Like I think if they get to the Super Bowl, it could be I think they'll actually win this time. Like if they get a chance to get there, I think they'll avenge their loss from last year. And I do think like, you're talking about, oh, are they on the same level as the Bills? It's like, well, I think they're going to be a contender like every year. Like I think we're going to get down to this now, where it's so crazy because like 2 or 3 years ago, you would never put the word Bengals in the same idea of like
Yeah.
a dynasty, whether that's like a Super Bowl winning dynasty or just like a team that's like constantly like a contender. And so I do think with him there, as long as he's there, like they are going to be like very competitive.
She's Kalyn Kahler. Give a follow on Twitter at Kalyn Kahler. She's also a senior NFL writer at The Athletic. And her side hustle is, you say it's Irish dance is what you teach?
Yes. Irish dance classes. That's right.
All right. So really quick, I need to understand what delineates Irish dance, because I feel like that's like a very like open-ended, like.
It's basically, well, it became famous with river dancing, but it's not really river dancing. Like that's like the commercialized version of it. It's like a competitive cultural art form. So we don't use our arms. We oftentimes when we compete, we have like curly hair. So like wigs with curly hair, sparkly dresses. It's like a whole thing. Like it is a very, very competitive, modern form of dance. Like it's rooted in centuries old Irish like cultural dance, but it has now become like a completely wild, that we had a giant cheating scandal this year with the judges that I won't get into, but it's like very similar to like, cheating scandals that you would see in any other sport. Like there's a governing body, there's rules, there are cheaters, there's I mean, it's crazy. There's cottage industries spawning off of it. We have instant replay now. It's wild. It's the whole thing.
For some reason, I'm getting like visions of like Just Bring It, the Irish edition. Like,
basically, yeah. I mean, yeah.
All right, well, I have to let you go, but maybe at some point I want to hear more about this because I've never heard of this before. Now you're starting to describe it. I feel like I could write a movie about it. So,
oh yeah, there's been some documentaries done, and they're pretty good. And this judging scandal, I think it might be my off-season project. I've been waiting to have free time to actually do some digging into it, but I might actually write about it. We'll see.
All right. like I said, I want to know more about this, but right now I have to let you go because I have to go to commercial break. So, Kalyn, I appreciate you jumping on for the third straight week.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I do not know how to do Irish dancing. I will leave that to the experts like Kalyn. I'll get your text messages on the other side before we wrap up the hour here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Today on ESPN Radio.
3 at the shot clock. Buzzer! Buried it. The dagger for Julius Randle.
Julius Randle and the New York Knicks head to TD Garden to face Jason Tatum and the NBA-leading Boston Celtics.
Brown's got it. Out ahead to a streaky Tatum, who hammers a right-hand dunk.
The New York Knicks at the Boston Celtics. Presented by Indeed. Coverage begins today at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
It's the NBA on 97.3 ESPN.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Come join us to watch the NFC Championship game. Nobody does Eagles game day like Chickies and Pete's. Enjoy our NFC Championship all-you-can-eat package with guaranteed seating and immediate entry. Plus, your Chicky and Pete's favorites like our world-famous crab fries, wings, Philly sandwiches, and more. Ice-cold draft beer, house wine, and fountain sodas also included. Space is limited, and it's filling up fast. Reserve now at chickyandpete's.com/NFC-champ. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Our seasonal menu items are now available at all Chicky and Pete's locations. Enjoy our pork belly tacos or share a plate of South Philly crab fries featuring our world-famous crab fries and cheese sauce, topped with porchetta-style pork belly, fried onion, and shaved provolone. Don't miss our specialty cocktails like the stateside mint chocotini or our cranberry margarita. Details at chickiesandpete's.com. Chickies and Pete's.
May old car problems be forgot in a brand new SUV.
Stop! You can't start the new year in an old car. Looking for some holiday cash? Then don't miss Matt Platt Nissan's holiday vehicle buyback. It doesn't matter what you drive. AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today, regardless of the make, miles, condition, or situation. AJ will buy your ride for cash today. So treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Rogue. 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest on every new Matt Platt Nissan Rogue.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Platt Nissan.
Drive away with peace of mind, because only Matt Platt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattPlattNissan.com. Requalifications exist with approved credit. $2,778 per thousand financed on in-stock 2023 Nissan Rogues. Not all will qualify. Go to MattPlattNissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 1/31/23. It's on at Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Every small business owner knows business can happen anytime, anywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started with internet for just $49 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to $1,000 in prepaid cards.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet. Customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Odds are
your insurance company has a jingle or mascot. And odds are, a jingle or mascot isn't going to help you file an insurance claim. But what if you could beat those odds? Now you can. Upgrade to NJM. We trade all the gimmicks for award-winning service. And when you need to file a claim, you'll be assigned a dedicated rep who will resolve it as quickly as possible. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Get a quote at njm.com.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on.
Online at CordellCordell.com. Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Hi, Merrill Reese from Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism, Sea Isle City. The Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism has been promoting awareness and raising funds for special service schools and families of special needs children. Come join over 5,000 participants in the 5K race and the Family Fun Walk, followed by a huge after party. Join us in huge heated tents where they'll have great food, unbelievable door prizes, and the award ceremony. The party is not just for runners and walkers, it's for the entire family. They'll have clowns, superheroes, and face painters for the kids. For more information or to register, go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com.
Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 18th at JFK and the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Registration is from 9:30 to 11:30. Run Walk starts at noon.
Any day you can do something for children with disabilities, it's a good day.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Get to your thoughts and comments in just a moment here on the text board, 609-403-0973. You can PM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. And, of course, you know, like I said, I'm going to break it even further down tomorrow, and me and Andy McNamara will give our picks tomorrow for, you know, different things. But, you know, I thought that Kalyn said something very interesting because she said, you know, these two teams got here in very different ways, and that the Eagles basically came out and blasted the Giants, and the 49ers had to, you know, fight tooth and nail to beat the Cowboys. And for her, she said, you know, that mattered to her, that there was something about that stood out to her. And I think it's a good point, because sometimes, you know, you can't just say what happened last week doesn't matter, because it matters to the players. And I think that at the end of the day, you know, me on the radio, you listening in the car on 97.3 ESPN FM, or if you're listening on 97.3 ESPN mobile app, we thank you for listening. Wherever you are, we all watch the games. So our perspective is completely different than what the players are experiencing in real time on the field. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, I'm arriving at the game at noon. I'm sitting in section 136. Fly, Eagles, fly. Loud and proud. Our Eagle fans. That's from Jeff in Ocean City. Listen, Jeff, I don't doubt it. And I think that it's going to be a combination of, it's going to be a packed house. It's probably going to be 90% Eagle fans, honestly, because, you know, the Giant fan, it's a little bit less of a travel thing. The weather's supposed to be what, in the 50s for the game. There's really nothing that's going to inhibit the Eagles. At the end of the day, you could make a strong argument that the only thing that will stop the Eagles from winning the game on Sunday is the Eagles. Ryan Clark said it very well this season. He said the only time the Eagles have lost games is when they have turned the ball over and had self-inflicted issues. If the Eagles play what they're capable of, they could beat anybody. If they play down to their competition, they'll get beat. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Hey, this is Josh Hennig inviting you to join the 97.3 ESPN team at Casey Ray's Sports Bar and Pub in Vineland, New Jersey, this Sunday from 12 to 2 p.m. for the Ultimate Eagles Tailgate Party. We will have prize giveaways, and come check out the drink specials all game long, courtesy of Jameson Irish Whiskey and Absolute Vodka. So join us this Sunday at Casey Ray's Sports Bar and Pub on Landis Avenue in Vineland from 12 to 2 p.m. and cheer on the Birds to victory.